This show is brought to you by Safety FM.
Program is rated MALSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, Dr. It doesn't matter who the host is.
2 more days until witches start flying, monsters start creeping, and someone in accounting wears fishnets to work.
Yep, that's how it's going to go. We are in that week of Halloween is the way that it is happening. Anyways, today is Wednesday, October the 29th of 2025, day 302nd of the year, and only 63 days left to go. We are broadcasting from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida, and coming across the multiverse known as Safety FM, and then hanging out with our friends and colleagues over there.
Radio Big USA, Canada, UK.
Okay, so how has the last 24 hours or so been for you, kids? It's always an important question. It's an important ask to see how things are going inside of your multiverse, because that is just the way that it goes. So with that being said, a lot of stuff going on inside of the world of the multiverse. We can do the little of this, we can do a little of that, but that's about it. Outside of that, not much going on, just kind of the way that it goes. So with that being said, if you're new here, our show consists of safety in the news, and safety. Just kind of how we do our things. As we talk a little bit about this, we talk a little bit about that, and then we kind of move along and go from there. So that's how it goes. I will try to bring you all of the news stories that I can find that make sense, at least to me, as we are kind of capturing the information and then going into it. So there you go. Okay, outside of that, if you want to interact with the show, simple process on doing so. All you have to do is go to callinradio.com. That's callinradio.com. Once you get there, video, audio, and text messaging is really the way that we kind of go through some of the stuff. And then we kind of end up on the other side of the equation. And what do I mean when I say the other side of the equation? Well, we're going to talk a little bit about everything that's going on. So outside and inside, we bring in some people from other things that are able to handle some of the stuff that we don't understand how to do. So don't worry about that. I bring in some professional broadcasters. They start talking all the stuff that's going on inside of the world of the multiverse, because there's just no other way of doing this. So that's how it is. That is how the show goes, and this is how we go through the whole plethora of things. So with that being said, why don't we start with a little bit of this and a little bit about that, And then we will bring in our friends from, should we bring in our friends from Feature Story News? I think, of course, the answer is yes. There is no doubt or questions about anything else inside of that. So let's go ahead and get into the news right now.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
From Feature Story News in New Delhi, I'm Ishan Garg. OpenAI is set to make its cheapest paid ChatGPT subscription free to users in India from next week. This comes as the country has proposed new rules to regulate how AI is used. Rebecca Bunton has more from Mumbai.
OpenAI will start offering its ChatGPT Go plan for free in India from the 4th of November for a year, in an effort to expand its footprint in the country. The subscription had been priced at about $4.50 a month. India is the second largest market for ChatGPT. This comes as India is taking steps to regulate artificial intelligence, this month proposing that social media firms would have to label content clearly to tackle a growing problem of deep fakes and the spread of misinformation. Rebecca Bunton, Mumbai.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has ordered immediate forceful strikes on the Gaza Strip. The latest flare-up threatens the 2-week-old ceasefire agreed between Israel and Hamas. Blake Sifton reports from Tel Aviv.
Netanyahu has ordered the strikes to be immediate and forceful. People in Gaza are certainly panicked. They don't know when these strikes will begin, where they will target, or if perhaps this could mark the end of the ceasefire. The last time the Israeli military carried out retaliatory airstrikes during the ceasefire, it was in response to an attack in Rafah that killed 2 Israeli soldiers. And in response, they targeted 20 sites in Gaza and killed some 44 Palestinians. Now, in this instance, this is coming in response to what Israel says is 2 violations of the ceasefire by Hamas. They say that their forces came under sniper and anti-tank missile fire earlier today in Rafah, and they also accuse Hamas of purposely delaying the return of the hostage bodies that are still in Gaza.
Amazon is cutting 14,000 jobs from its corporate workforce as it prioritizes investments in AI. The company says it needs slimmer staffing levels to allow it to put more money into its AI ambitions. Nick Harper reports from Washington.
Well, this is all about Amazon recalibrating its priorities, slashing its corporate workforce so that it can refocus on AI. 14,000 jobs are going from its global corporate workforce. That represents about 4% of its overall 350,000 positions. It wants to reduce costs and then invest more in AI. Amazon is calling AI the most transformative technology we've seen since the internet, adding it is now one of its biggest bets. Ultimately, AI might mean slimmer workforces as companies reassess the size of their workforces to see if they can do more with less, with AI now involved. I'm Nick Harper in Washington.
Reports say India and China have held fresh border talks to discuss confidence-building measures as ties between 2 nuclear neighbours improve.
With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks, continuing our look today at the nebulous stages of the race for the US presidency in 2028. Yesterday, we reported on President Trump's apparent ambition for a 3rd term in office. Today, the woman he beat last November, former Vice President Kamala Harris. She has been in the UK promoting her memoir about her failed 107-day election campaign, speaking to the BBC and indicating that she may take another crack at the White House.
You say in your book, I'm not done.
That is correct. I am not done. I have lived my entire career a life of service. And there are many ways to serve. I've not decided yet what I will do in the future beyond what I am doing right now.
In that interview, she faced questions about whether she should have done more to persuade President Biden to stand down from the 2024 campaign much earlier in the process. She faced ongoing questions about whether the Biden administration should have done more to end the war in Gaza, and bristled when the interviewer suggested that some polls show her trailing Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson in the very early stages of the race for the White House. At the moment, Kamala Harris says she is purely in listening mode as she talks to the American public, and she points out that she won 75 million votes last year in what she calls the closest election of the 21st century so far. With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks.
FSN is an independent source of news for TV, radio and digital networks worldwide. You can find more of our minute-by-minute updates on Twitter. Follow us there at Feature Story. And we have a wealth of audio and video stories from our global news bureaus on Facebook. You can find us there by following Feature Story News. Stay tuned for further updates right here. But for now, that is the latest Feature Story News. Ishan Garg reporting.
Bringing you information you never knew you cared about. Rated R Safety Show.
This portion of the show has been sponsored by Private Internet Access, America's #1 virtual private network, or VPN. Even if you use incognito mode, internet service providers is storing your browser data and many times even selling it. But Private Internet Access, or PIA, can help you. PIA encrypts and reroutes your internet traffic through one of its own servers, hiding your data from your internet service provider or network admin. And with servers in over 75 countries, you can get unrestricted access to geo-blocked content from around the world. PIA comes with easy-to-use apps and browsers extension for all devices, a rock-solid privacy policy, open source security, advanced customization settings, and it was just ranked the fastest VPN in the world by PC Magazine. And if you sign up right now with PIA, you can take advantage of a special deal only for Safety FM listeners. Only by using the following link, you can get the digital privacy for less than $2 a month. Yes, you did hear me correctly, less than $2 a month, and an extra 4 months for free. So that means for only $1.98 a month and 83% off, you can get this service for you right now. That's so much more inexpensive than virtually every other VPN on the market. And if you get it right now, you can take PIA's 30-day risk-free challenge. You can try it out for 30 days, see if you like it, and if not, just return it for a full refund. So just go to safetyfm.com/VPN. That's safetyfm.com/VPN to try out the best VPN on the planet completely risk-free. Now remember, safetyfm.com/VPN.
This isn't a safety manual. It's a transmission. Jay Allen, PhD, host of the Rated R Safety Show and founder of Safety FM, has spent years pulling back the curtain on the systems we work in and the ones we don't talk about. What started as a fatal crash on the 405 became a search for truth. Through behavior-based safety, human and organizational performance, simulation theory, and everything in between. Safety, in my opinion, is raw, reflective, and real. From burnout to breakthroughs, from the matrix to the moment someone says, "This doesn't feel right." This book doesn't give you answers. It hands you the signal. Safety, in my opinion. Available now, wherever books and audiobooks are found.
You ever hit the wall, burnout, stressed, or just feeling that everything is piling up and thought, yeah, I probably need to talk to someone? The problem is finding the therapist who actually takes your insurance feels impossible at times. That's where Rula comes in. Rula is a healthcare company that makes mental health care easy to access and actually affordable. They partner with over 100 insurance plans, so the average copay is about $15 a session, sometimes even less. With Rula, you get matched with the right therapist for you, not just whoever's available. Their network has over 15,000 licensed professionals, and you can book an appointment as soon as tomorrow. No wait list, no frustrations, just therapy that works with your schedule and your insurance. Thousands of people are already using Rula to get affordable, high-quality therapy that actually covered by insurance. Visit Rula.com/safetyfm to get started. After you sign up, you'll be asked how you heard about them. Please support our show and let them know that we sent you there. That's RULA.com/safetyfm. You deserve mental health care that works with you, not against your budget. Go to Rula.com/safetyfm right now to get started. That's RULA.com/safetyfm, because you deserve mental health care that works with you, not against your budget.
Listen at your own risk. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, here we go. 14 minutes past the top of the hours. You and I are hanging out here on this lovely Whip 'em Out Wednesday. Yep, no doubt about that. Okay, so let's get into some stories, but I just don't know if I want to start off weird or start off normal. So let's start off with weird because I just don't think you can talk about anything else at the moment after hearing this. Okay, so here we go. Frida, the same company that made headlines with the breast milk flavored ice cream, is back with another head scratcher. Boogie Bites Candy, the booger inspired gummies that are launching just in time for the cold and flu season. The brand claims that its treats are less gross way to enjoy what kids already do, eat boogers. Yeah, don't worry. They're just fruit gummies shaped like snot. Not the real deal. Still, they're said to be crafted with the input of artificial booger eaters. So there you go. Yep. So Friday's new slogan, if you can pick it, you can eat it. And finally, a candy that matches the kids' diet. Move over, Sour Patch Kids. Make room for mucus munchies. I'm just saying. And for when you start your snack it comes with some extra texture. That might be a question. The FDA called, and they're not sure if this candy or if they're a cry for help. Crafted with real booger eaters. That's not just a focus group. That's preschool. Perfect for stocking stuffers if you hate your own in-laws. And then you know what they say, stop eating your boogers and hand your kids a bag of this instead. I mean, it's just kind of a number of things. I guess we should go some little bit more serious angle here as we are talking about stuff. Take a listen to this all right, let's see. The presidential elections are not for another 3 years, but it's something that we're already starting to talk about. President floated the idea of an unstoppable 2028 ticket featuring Vice President J.D. Vance and Secretary of State Mark Rubio during an exchange with reporters aboard Air Force One on Monday. En route to Tokyo for the meeting with Japan and the new prime minister. When asked about the possible third term, Trump praised members of the administration as very good people and pointed out that Vance and Rubio, who were standing behind him, are potential successors. We have a great people. That's how it's listed. JD's great. Marco's great. I'm not sure if anybody would run against us. If they teamed up, it's unstoppable, Trump said. Pressed on whether he was ruling out running again himself, the president smirked and replied, I'm not ruling it out. I mean, you'll have to tell me. So there you go. I mean, I look at it and I go, what would be the change to the 22nd Amendment? Because that would be the question. And how far along would you have to do it? And there would probably be some other questions that would come about. And I'm sure some people would not be too happy about it.
Who truly cares what this guy has to say? Who gives a shit? Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, take a listen to this. A new center-left reveals that 70% of Americans now see the Democratic Party as out of touch, a dramatic jump from 51% from 2013. The survey conducted by Welcome, a self-described reformist Democratic group, says that the party has drifted away from the priorities that most voters actually care about. According to the massive survey of over 500,000 Americans, the voters believe that Democrats are too focused on issues like protecting undocumented immigrants and LGBTQ rights while neglecting bread and butter concerns such as economy, cost of living, health care, and border security. Welcome's reports that titled Deciding to Win bluntly warns Democrats to focus less on climate change, abortion, and cultural issues and moderate their stance against immigration and public safety. Meanwhile, the Republican Party has slightly improved its image. 65% of voters now call it out of touch, down from 70% from a decade ago. So there you go. Some stuff to talk about. So what do you think? A lot of stuff going on inside of the world of the multiverse. And man, when we start getting into politics, I get so excited. And I hope you know
that's some bullshit.
So let's continue talking. A federal judge has extended a ban on President Trump's plan to lay off thousands of federal employees during the ongoing government shutdown. Now it's the 29th day. The U.S. District Court Susan Illiston granted the preliminary injunction preventing the administration from issuing reduction in force notices, the legal step before mass layoffs until the government reopens. The union had sued back on September the 30th, arguing the administration memo, which allowed the Office of Management and Budget to target non-priority agencies for cuts, was illegal and politically motivated. Union leaders cheered the ruling, accusing the administration of using shutdown as a cover of fire workers whose programs it didn't like. Everett Kelly, FAGE president, said that the court stopped the administration from illegally firing thousands of federal workers. Lee Saunders from CSME president called it another victory for the federal workers against the administration hell-bent for illegal firing them. So there you go. Some stuff to talk about as we are talking. Take a listen to this. Over 24 states sue the White House over food stamps. 42 million Americans could lose food aid as government shutdown showdown heads to court. Yeah, shutdown showdown, because that's not confusing to say. 25 states plus D.C. are suing Trump administration, demanding it to unlock emergency reserves to keep SNAP, food stamps, program running past November the 1st. The states argue that the feds are legally required to keep the program alive, while the administration says that the $5 to $6 billion in reserves are meant for national disasters, not shutdown. SNAPs cost about $8 billion a month, helping 1 in 8 Americans put food on their table. New York's Attorney General Letitia James blasted the move, saying that there's no excuse to abandon families in need. Meanwhile, the White House is holding its line, even as pressure mounts from both sides of the aisle to tap contingency funds. So there you go. So what do you think here? Because I think that this is going to be a question to come about. Will this be the cause for the government to open again? Or will there still be some pushback in regards of some of the stuff that's going on? Because you know that this is going to become a total cluster F before it's all said and done. It's just kind of the nature of the beast is the way that it goes. Because, down in the belly of the beast I lie. So it just is going to get a little bit more interesting as we are talking. So what are you thinking about this? Because as we get further in this whole thing, because we're close to tomorrow will be a month in regards of this whole thing, so it's going to be a total cluster when it's all said and done. So who knows what's going to happen? It all gets a little scary.
More sarcasm than a Mortal Kombat beatdown. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so take a listen to this because, we had to talk about everything. Jake and Rosie met while volunteering at an animal rescue in Yorkshire. They fell in love, converted a cow barn into a wedding venue, and had their disabled sheep, Bunny, roll down the aisle as the ring bearer in her custom wheelchair. She even snuck some canopies during the reception. The couple called their dream wedding, and Bunny totally stole the show. So there you go, getting married at a animal sanctuary. So I guess true love, where the vows still till death or livestock do us apart. I guess that's one way to take a look at it when it's all said and done. Okay, what else do we got going on? Of course, because we are in the month of October, we had to talk about some of these things. Twin brothers Ian and Stuart Patton, who have been growing massive vegetables since their teens, finally broke the Guinness World Record with a pumpkin weighing, are you ready for this? 2,819 pounds. They named it Muggle. It's officially the heaviest pumpkin ever recorded, and probably the only thing in Britain that didn't complain about the weather. So here you go. That's not a pumpkin. That's a small Airbnb. Cinderella saw it and said, I'm going to need a bigger fairy godmother. Let's see. Even Starbucks was like, too much pumpkin. One pumpkin spice latte from this thing could fuel the entire yoga studio and the heaviest pumpkin ever grown. And I thought my Thanksgiving belly was impressive. So there you go. Some stuff to think about as we are talking. A French kite surfer in New Zealand found a surfboard covered in barnacles. It had drifted far away from Tasmania, nearly 1,500 miles away. The owner, Liam, couldn't believe his long-lost board resurfaced. Scientists say that the ocean currents carried it across, or maybe it even went on for a soul-searching trip. 1,500 miles later and still beat Amazon delivery. So I'm just saying. Liam lost it in May. The surfboard basically took a gap year, if you start thinking about it, and proved that even surfboards ghost people. The ocean returned it, bro. I'm done babysitting. So there you go. Also, it left as a board and came back as a artifact because there's just no other way to take a look at it. So what do you think about this? A lot of stuff. So I got one, and it gets interesting. And, you know, a lot of people say when it comes to this show, at least the first hour of the show, you talk a lot about stuff that's not related to safety. And, you know, sometimes I look back and I go, you're absolutely right. I talk about a lot of shit that makes no sense in regards of anything that we talk about, but I'm trying to give you some liner-iners of stuff to talk about before you start talking about, you know, numbers and metrics and telling people how safety is done by a scorecard. But just having some other subjects to talk about because I think it's important. And I think that this next one will fall into that category of anything you can talk about. So, expectant mom Ines Egner shared a 20-week ultrasound, and the image looks identical to her dog. Yep, I said that. Family and friends couldn't unsee it, and the internet lost it. Ines took this in stride, joking that the sonograms are never flattering anyway, and the dog, the beloved rescue pup, remains blissfully unaware that he might be reincarnated as a human form. I will tell you, if you read some of the comments about this, that was not the only thing that was said. Congratulations, it's a boy or it's a golden retriever. Doctors confirmed that the baby is due in December and loves belly rubs. The ultrasound tech said, good news, your kid fetches. Forget who's your daddy, try who's your doggy. She wanted a boy, but she got a good boy. The ultrasound barked back, and then when they knew. And let's see. Families are already buying chew toys for the nursery. I mean, I guess this is one way to set things up. Okay, let's continue talking. NC man haircut appointment ends with a $100,000 lottery prize. What? Yeah, take a listen to this. A North Carolina man's quick trip to grab cash for a haircut turned into a $100,000 lottery win. Oscar Rosales from Durham realized that he didn't have money to pay the barber, so he stopped at the Lighthouse Food Mart on Holloway Street and used the ATM. On an impulse, bought a $20 Ruby Red 7 scratch-off ticket. After paying for his haircut, he scratched the ticket in his truck and hit a $100,000 jackpot. Rosales said that he was flooded with emotions and plans to use the winnings to reach some personal goals, calling it a big help. What the hell are your personal goals? I'm using this money for personal goals. Can somebody explain that to me? Like, are you buying a house? You're buying a car? I mean, I'm kind of confused on the personal goals piece. I mean, I can understand wants, maybe needs. I don't know. It gets kind of interesting, but something to think about as we are talking. Okay, take a listen to this one. Pastor slams workers at Quant Coffee Shop for wearing sinful leggings and sports bra in front of kids. Does that mean that they should take him off? I'm so confused. Pastor Dale Patridge, leader of Kingsway Reformed Church in Prescott, Arizona, ignited a firestorm online after ranting about young women's outfits at a sandwich shop. Leggings and sports bras, which he called sinful and the kind of outfits our grandmothers would see as lingerie. Bartridge said that he didn't confront the server in person, but later contacted the shop owner to complain and posted about it on X, declaring, "Make sinful shameful again." He even claimed that his wife noticed the woman was wearing a cross necklace, calling it hypocritical. The pastor doubled down the next day, insisting just because it was the word sports in front of it doesn't change what it is. It's still a bra. He later posted a poll asking fathers if they would let their teenage daughters wear leggings in public, saying that he wouldn't. Social media users roasted him. Some accused him of being lustful and projecting guilt, while others said that the outrage was more about his own attraction than modesty. One commentator summed it up: a sandwich girl in a sports bra made you lustful, and you decided that she's the problem. Others defended his stance, arguing modern clothing today has gone too far. So pastor saw sports bras and suddenly needed a full-blown exorcism. And let's see. She was serving sandwiches, not temptation. Imagine calling the manager over at a Yoga Pants, "Buddy, it's Panera, not Garden of Eden." Dale's next sermon: "Thou shalt not order turkey subs from Jezebel." It's leggings, not lingerie. Calm down, deacon drama. And he didn't fall into temptation. He tripped over a pair of leggings. And Jesus turned water into wine. Dale turned, let's see, what we would have called to a health department because there's nothing else to do. I mean, I don't know. I kind of get confused by some of this stuff. Because I always thought that the slogan was supposed to go something like this: hate the sin, love the sinner. Is that not what it is? I mean, if you're seeing as what the person's doing as a sin. I think there was another way to go about it. But as I always say, controversy creates cash. Learned that from Bischoff.
We at Safety FM are not responsible for what this idiot behind the microphone is saying. He is trying to be entertaining. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so let's go into some stuff that is going on real quick. Let's go into a couple real quick. Let's do this. A woman swindled out of $350,000. Thought that she was dating Squid Game star. South Korean woman and her 50 scams over 500 million won. That's about 350,000 US after believing that she was a romantic relationship with Squid Game star Lee Jung-jae. The scam began as someone posing as the actor's message on social media saying that the actor Lee Jung-jae, "I reached out to communicate with fans." The fraudster then moved to a chat called Kakao Talk. Started calling her honey and sweetie and use AI-generated photos of Lee to make sure that more convincing. Over time, the scammers conducted some more scams and emotional stories, claiming that he was stranded at an airport and needing travel funds, and convinced the woman to send large sums of money, promising to repay her. Once he returned to Korea, at one point, she even paid $7,500 to fake a VIP pass to meet him in person, but the meeting never happened. Eventually overwhelmed and broke, she went to the police, who confirmed that the AI romance was a scam. Lee Jung-jae, real agency, later issued a warning urging fans never to send money to anyone claiming that they were the actors, and that authorities say that the scammers remained unidentified and the victim's chances of recovering the moolah was probably virtually zero. Okay, so let's get into some of this stuff because I think that we need to talk about it, and let's do this as part of our main story.
Here is our main story on the Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so let's talk about this because I want to give you something to give you something else. So let's start off with this. A Texas woman mushy steak horror goes viral. Internet thinks that the Texas Roadhouse got too tender with it. A Texas woman says that she almost lost her dinner after biting into a mushy steak from Texas Roadhouse, a meal that she described as having a texture of mashed potatoes. TikTok Kim at Kimmy561 shared the viral moment with her 1.8 million viewers, pressing a spoon into what she would have called something that would have been firm and juicy. her steak, of course. Instead, the meat folded like Play-Doh. And although I was going to hurl over all of it in one place, she said, showing how the steak flopped around with no muscle or structure. Kim, who says that she's a fan of the chain, usually orders chicken and salad, insisted that she wasn't trying to bash the restaurant, just understand what went wrong. Expert in food sites points out that no one likely is the culprit. Too much meat tenderizer would cause that. Enzymes from papaya or pineapple used to soften the meat can completely break down the protein, and it's left on too long, turning the steak into goo. Over-marinating or aggressively mechanically tenderizing what can be done by the same. Online commentators didn't hold back either, comparing the steak to refried beans, canned pet food, and others said that they have never seen anything like this from Texas Roadhouse and urged Kim to contact management even over the health concerns and maybe even contact the health department in case. Now, you're probably going, why in the hell are you talking about mushy steak as your main story? Well, maybe that's not really what we're talking about. Maybe what we're really focusing on is here's the story. This is the main portion. This is what we're talking about. She talked about having a viral moment. And this is how the viral moment occurred. She shared it with 1.8 million viewers. Now, have you hung out on LinkedIn? Like, are you familiar with how the site works? And I'm not picking on LinkedIn here because it is a form to use in regard to being posting on social media about work-related content. At least the most part of it is. And I think you know that. I hope you know that. And the reason that I mentioned this is because I'm always amazed in regards of what we do for work. And listen, because of what you do for work and what I do for work and what others do for work, it's kind of interesting to see some aspects. But I have a weird thing that I don't understand. I'm always amazed on the amount of consultants that go out there and have to post anytime they're about to do something. So let me explain what I mean here. Let's say, for instance, I'm flying to the Netherlands, and all of a sudden I'm posting that I'm flying to the Netherlands. And I need everybody to know that I'm flying to the Netherlands to do a workshop for the next couple of days. I'm doing a speech for the next couple of days. And it's not that you do it because you're going to the Netherlands. It's you're doing it because every time you go somewhere, you have to post about it. The one that I loved a few weeks ago was some dumbass posted that they fly so frequently in first class that the airline knows their name and leaves them hand thank you notes. Nope. Airlines leave you that because they want to actually engage with what the hell you have going on for you to come back again and be a client of theirs. It's not that the airline knows you. So I get confused about that because imagine this for a moment. And it's just one of those pet peeves. But I want you to imagine this for a moment. Let's say you're not a consultant. And that's fine. You don't have to be a consultant. I think most of the work that gets done is it's done inside of the workplace, not through consultants, but by the people that do the work. But let's leave it at that. But the person posts every day when they're driving to work. Would that drive you crazy? What if the person was posting, hey, I spoke to my team in a meeting today. I did that. It's like, I get to the point that I don't understand what's going on. And listen, I understand that people want to market what they're doing, even though some people just want to rip off the shit that other people are doing and then post it as their own stuff. But we'll leave that for another day. But I don't understand of if I'm busy, if I'm doing this and I'm doing that, you need to know every single step that I'm taking. Or I worked with this group last week, and they were the best group I've ever worked with. At some point, you know, the people that are reading your content, looking at your content, are going to know you're full of shit. It's just kind of how it goes. So at what point do we start looking at this and going, okay, this is not reality of what you're doing. The reality of what you're doing and what is being done is totally different than what's actually going on. So at the end of the day, do you engage with this kind of content? Or am I looking at this entirely wrong? And maybe as a traditional worker, we should be posting about what we did at work. Because if consultants are doing it, man, doesn't it make a shitload of sense to start posting a whole bunch of stuff that's going on in the average work site?
Oops, what did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with the viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to the home of real safety talk.
You are listening to Safety FM. We'll be right back.
In safety, in my opinion, you woke up. You saw the system, the simulation, the structure that trained you to mistake compliance for care. Safety mutation. Information misdirection picks up where the signal fractured. Because the system didn't shut you down, it rebranded you. It packaged your voice, sold your rebellion as a new initiative, and smiled while doing it. This isn't a manual. It's a decoded transmission about what happens when slogans replace stories, when safety becomes marketing, and when truth gets mirrored so perfectly, you forget it was ever yours. You'll see the mutation. Learning teams turned into theater, zero harm turned into optics, and feedback turned into formatting. But the signal didn't die. It was redirected. Safety Mutation is book 2 of the Signal Transmission Trilogy. Available now in print, Kindle, and audiobook. Narrated by the author J. Allen, Ph.D. Because the system adapted. Now it's your move.
If you're anything like me, you have certain tendencies to put things off, such as filing taxes, seeing the doctor, working on that home improvement project that you're supposed to be doing, but you just haven't gotten to it. And while most of the times it works out, the one thing in life that you really cannot afford to wait on is setting up term coverage life insurance. You've probably seen life insurance commercials on TV and thought, yeah, I'll look into it later. Well, the answer is no. This isn't something that you can wait for. Choose life insurance through Ladder today. Ladder is 100% digitals, no doctors, no needles, no paperwork. When you apply for $3 million in coverage or less, just answer a few questions about your health in an application. Ladder's customers rate them 4.8 out of 5 stars on Trustpilot, and they've made Forbes' Best Life Insurance in 2021's list. You just need a few minutes and a phone or a laptop to apply. Ladder's smart algorithm works in real time, so you'll find out if you're instantly approved. No hidden fees, cancel anytime, get full refund if you change your mind in the first 30 days. Ladder policies are issued by insurers with long proven histories of paying claims. They're rated A and A+ by AM Best. Finally, since life insurance costs more as you age, now is the time to cross it off your list. So go to ladder.com/safetyfm today to see if you're instantly approved. That's LADDER life.com/safetyfm. Ladderlife.com/safetyfm.
What if everything we thought we knew about safety was just interference? From the host of the Rated R Safety Show and the founder of Safety FM comes the complete Signal Transmission Trilogy, now available in one powerful edition. Safety, in my opinion, the book that started the conversation. Safety Mutation, where the boundaries of culture, systems, and belief begin to break. And now, Safety Transmission, the final piece of the signal. For the first time, all 3 books are together in one volume. The Signal Transmission Trilogy, Complete Edition. This isn't just about compliance. It's about consciousness. It's about decoding the way we think, lead, and live, inside and outside the system. Whether you've been following the signal since the beginning or you're just now tuning in, this is the version to own. Search Signal Trilogy on Amazon or visit safetyfm.com to get your copy now.
So do you feel like you're missing out on what everyone is starting to do now, that live streaming thing, and you don't know where to start or what to do? I have the resource and the information to provide to you in regards on how you can stream onto 40 social media platforms all at one time. Yes, that's 40 social media platforms all at one time. All you'll need to do is go to safetyfm.com/1. That's safetyfm.com/1. That's ONE. So just in case, and you'll be able to start live streaming just like you're hearing people starting to do right now, up to 40 social media platforms.
What do guys like besides pizza and morning sex?
Jay Allen in the morning.
It's so bizarre and unnatural.
It's all good. On Radio Big.
You know how this goes. This is still the Rated R Safety Show. 45 minutes past the top of the hour, as you and I are hanging out, talking a little bit about everything that's going on inside of the world of the multiverse. Because that's kind of what we do around here. Oh, yeah. You know, this is hour number one of the Jay Allen in the Morning Show before we go over to Radio Big, you know, as a constant. So with that being said, let's get into this. This right here is Shöckface with Metanöia. Songs readily available on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube Music, and Pandora. Yeah, go ahead and give it a little streamer-eamer action if you'd like to do so. I don't think you're going to regret it. Okay. We would like to thank Shöckface for allowing us to play this here on the Rated R Safety Show. No doubt about that, as we are hanging out doing our thing. No doubt or outer. Anyways, let me tell you about the most important thing that I will ever tell you in my lifetime, and that is about my friends at To Write Love on Her Arms. No matter what you're facing, you deserve to be connected to help, and the people at To Write Love on Her Arms want you to know that people have been where you are now and that healing is possible. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to TWLOHA.com. That's TWLOHA.com. To Write Love on Her Arms. Once you get there, go all the way to the far right-hand side and click on the section that says Find Help. Seriously. That will change everything for you, one way, shape, or form, no doubt about that. TWLOHA.com. The reason that I say this is because, listen, you never know when you're going to need the information. Once you get there, you're going to see information related to addiction, depression, anxiety, eating disorders, self-injury, suicide, trauma, grief support, just to name a few. That's TWLOHA.com. To Write Love on Her Arms. I'm going to just tell you, that's just where it's at, because that is what is going on. So, here you go. Let's continue talking about some other things, because that is what we do around here. So, let's start talking right away. Do you want to know that Gen Z brides are refusing to say bye-bye to their last names? Take a listen to this. A viral trend is shaking up one's marriage oldest traditions. Millennials and Gen Z brides are increasingly refusing to take their husband's last name, choosing instead to keep their names and identities intact. The movement gained steam after content creator Lucy posted on TikTok asking women why they didn't change their last names after marriage. Their simple declaration, "I've never considered it because this was my given name," struck a nerve, racking up hundreds of thousands of views and sparking a fiery debate. Many women applauded the choice as a rejection of an outdated custom. One commenter wrote, "It's an old school tradition passed on by property ownership, and I don't believe humans should be property." Another added, "I got married, not bought." Some admitted that their reasons were partially practical, 50% feminism, 50% hating paperwork, while others joked about not wanting to downgrade their names. "My last name is King, and his is Butler. Why would I want to demote myself?" The trend fits into a broader generational shift in marriage norms. From brides wearing pantsuits or skipping weddings altogether to grooms becoming stay-at-home dads, and the message from a new generation of wife is loud and clear. Marriage doesn't mean losing your name or your identity. As one woman summed it up, "I'm me, not him." So there you go. Some things to take a look at as we are talking. It makes sense. I had a friend that actually, they did a combo of the last names. So they both changed their last names. I guess that was a different approach on doing so. Okay, take a listen to this one before we bring in some John Smalls. McDonald's is reportedly preparing to round cash transactions to the nearest 5 cents as the U.S. Mint phases out penny productions. According to a memo shared online by employees, the change, which only affects cash payments, is due in the U.S. Treasury halting penny production after the final batch of blanks runs out early next year. Menu prices won't change, but customers' change will be rounded to the next based on rules. 1 and 2 cents rounds to 0, 3 to 4 cents rounds to 5 cents, 6 and 7 cents rounds to 5 cents, 8 and 9 cents rounds to 10 cents. Amounts ending in 0 or 5, no change whatsoever. So online customers were divided. Some accused the change of stealing pennies and called it confusing or unfair, while others noted already standard practice in countries like Canada and Australia, where pennies were retired years ago, and the move hasn't been officially confirmed by McDonald's, but sparking plenty of a debate online. So there you go. From legal questions, a penny owed is still a penny owed, and the sarcastic outrage class action lawsuit against the rundowns. So there you go. Some stuff to think about. Anyways, let's bring some John Smalls into our life and let him tell us about the Motivation Minute.
The Motivation Minute, courtesy of GenesisGoldIRA.com and JaceCaseMedical.com.
The Motivation Minute.
Today's quote was submitted by Cole. Tom Petty said, "Do something you really like, and hopefully it pays the rent. As far as I'm concerned, that's success." I agree with Tom Petty, and I think he did okay. I bet he loved what he was able to do in life. I do too. No, I'm not Tom Petty, but I don't need to be. We already had one Tom Petty. I'm going to just be me. I'm way better at that. When I was a young boy, I found out how great it felt to make people laugh. I was a little bit of a class clown because of it. I studied and I did okay in school, but I also had fun while I was there. I've made my living by entertaining people on the radio and on stage as a comedian. I feel blessed that I get to do what I get to do.
The Motivation Minute.
The Motivation Minute, courtesy of GenesisGoldIRA.com and JaceCaseMedical.com. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
Russian President Vladimir Putin met with North Korea's foreign minister in Moscow yesterday, discussing plans to increase diplomatic and economic cooperation.
This marks the second high-level meeting between the two nations this year, following recent joint military exercises in the region. Both sides emphasized spiritual closeness and strategic alignment, citing a shared interest in countering Western sanctions and boosting regional security. Analysts suggest the growing partnership could provide North Korea with advanced technology and support for infrastructure projects. Benjamin Wright reporting.
Israel has begun the process of selectively approving foreign troops to oversee the fragile ceasefire in Gaza following weeks of international pressure.
Prime Minister Netanyahu stated that decisions on which forces would be allowed are being made to ensure Israel's security interests are protected. Despite the formal ceasefire, sporadic violence has continued in several areas adjacent to Gaza. Joseph Eckerson reporting.
The longest government shutdown in recent U.S. history continues, leaving federal employees and key public services in limbo as lawmakers remain deadlocked in Washington.
The Senate is scheduled to reconvene this afternoon, but there has been no major breakthrough in negotiations between Republicans and Democrats. Union leaders representing over 800,000 government workers are calling for the urgent passage of a temporary funding bill to restore full operations. Lawrence Keller reporting.
President Donald Trump arrived in Japan as part of his continuing Asia tour, which focuses on trade, security, and diplomatic relations with key regional partners.
The meeting with Japan's Prime Minister Sanae Takaichi is expected to address ongoing economic agreements and regional security concerns. This visit comes as the U.S. deals with a partial government shutdown, impacting diplomatic resources. Discussions will also include North Korea's recent missile tests and the status of U.S. bases in Japan. Kevin Sanders reporting.
Intense bipartisan negotiations over healthcare subsidies are underway on Capitol Hill as lawmakers seek to resolve tax credit disputes linked to Obamacare.
The latest standoff has raised fears about sharp premium increases for millions of Americans if a deal cannot be reached soon. Democrats are pushing for expanded subsidies, while Republicans want to focus on reopening the government first. Healthcare advocates warn of economic strains on low-income families and the elderly. Kyle Norris reporting.
Michigan food pantries are experiencing increased demand due to ongoing federal benefit delays, with more than 1.4 million residents impacted statewide.
Local organizations have reported a significant influx as government services face disruption from the continuing shutdown. Volunteers are working extra shifts to keep shelves stocked, and community donations have risen sharply this week. Residents relying on SNAP benefits have expressed concern about running out of resources if the impasse continues. Jessica Oakley reporting.
And that's the latest news headlines with Alan Edwards.
In order to save the planet from cow farts, why doesn't someone just invent really large gas X pills?
John, what's that awful stench? Radio.
Oh, yes, we're getting a little stingy around here, no doubt about that. Let's talk about some things that happened back on this date. If I take a look around real quick, back in 1942, Alaska Highway is completed. If I look at, let's see, 1966, National Organization of Women is funded. Yep, that happened back in 1966. And back in 1998, John Glenn returned to space at the age of 77. So I guess some things that were going on. If you're looking at some celebrity birthdays going on today, Richard Dreyfuss turned 78, Kate Jackson turned 77, Dan Castellaneta turned 68, Randy Jackson turned 64, Jolie Fisher turns 58, Winona Ryder turns 54, Tracy Ellis Ross turns 53, and Gabrielle Union turns 53 as well. So I guess that's some things to take a look at if you wanted some stuff to take a look at, no doubt about that. If you want the weird fact of the day, let's go ahead and do that because it sounds like we should be talking about this. There's species of jellyfish that technically are immortal. Toparpius downhill can revert to juvenile stage after adulthood and essentially hitting the reset button on life. Would you use it if you had it? That would be the question. Okay, so let's do this. I'm going to give you two. But let's give you the first one. Let's give you some words of wisdom for today. Don't let comfort kill your potential. Growth never happens on the couch. I mean, I guess happens on the couch, but that's about it. Anyways, that's going to sum up our time together at the top of the hour. I will be going over to radiobig.fm if you want to come over there and hang out with me for the next couple hours or so. We'll be talking about the world of music and of entertainment if you want to go over there, radiobig.fm. If you don't want to go over there, that's perfectly fine. You can hang out here with the likes of Sheldon Primus as you get to talk about the world of safety consulting. So there you go. Some things to talk about. Always a good time for us to hang out and do some things. If I can leave you with a word of advice for today, I would love to leave you with this. Use bubble wrap on windows to insulate your house. It traps the heat like a cheap double pane upgrade. Some things to think about, for sure. I know who you are. You know who I am. Love you, mean it, and goodbye.
The views and opinions expressed during this broadcast, podcast, or radio show are solely those of the host and guests and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of Safety FM and or Radio Big. The content discussed, including examples of analysis, is provided for illustrative purposes only. It should not be applied as the sole solution in real-world scenarios, as it is based on limited and dated open source information. Any assumptions made during this broadcast, podcast, or radio show are not reflective of Safety FM and or Radio Big. No portion of this broadcast, podcast, or radio show may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, electronic, mechanical, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of Safety FM and or Radio Big. For permission requests, please contact Safety FM or Radio Big directly.